I'm not worried about Aaron Rodgers taking a step back as much as I'm worried about the Packers collectively potentially taking a step back. And I'm worried about Davante Adams taking a step back. I don't believe that this divorce is going to benefit, it's probably going to benefit Derek Carr and Raiders more than anybody, but I don't believe as far as the group that was together in Green Bay, whether it's Aaron, Davante, or the Packers collectively, that it's going to benefit them. I know, and I know this with Aaron. He's had a legion of wide receivers that have come through. Davante Adams is not the first that he has had a great relationship with and has made them, and they've made him all pros and league MVP. I understand all that. But at some point, a guy gets to a place where he has to rely on the talent around him as much as that talent relies on him. And my question is, at this point, are we getting to that point in Aaron Rodgers' career because of his age as much as anything else? I believe we've seen that with Tom Brady. Tom Brady, we saw it in New England. Wasn't enough talent there. Gets to Tampa Bay, he's suddenly a different Tom Brady. So he himself, Aaron said, Davante Adams is the best player I've ever played with. You're going to take that away from him and think that there's not going to be any kind of impact, especially when I look at the receiving core coming in, incredibly unproven. I mean, other than Lazard and Cobb, you don't have anybody who is by any means proven. And you guys would know more about the three wide receivers that they drafted and their potential. But I don't necessarily see one of them and say, oh, well, that's the next Davante Adams. I mean, that's a high bar to clear anyway. If there's one guy there that has the potential to develop, okay, but it's still potential that has to be developed. And the question remains, at this point in Aaron's career, is he still capable, as he has been over all these years, of making every wide receiver that he plays with look better than they look with any other quarterback? I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying we're at a nexus in Aaron's career where it's fair to question whether he can pull that magic trick off once again.
And I'm a big believer in the concept of great quarterbacks are force multipliers, and they make the players around them better. And I always get frustrated when people say this quarterback needs more help, this quarterback needs more help. The great ones make the players around them significantly better, and Aaron's going to continue to do that. Now, that being said, when you have a great player and you're a great quarterback, that changes the equation dramatically. And Davante Adams is a great player. It's hard to replace 100-plus catches a season. It's hard to replace 10 touchdowns a season. And in addition to that, it's not like he was sneaking up on everybody. Every defense was trying to handle that problem. And what that does is when you've got to push coverage to him, when you've got to make adjustments to a great wide receiver, that opens up everything else. And that's not a statistic that can be measured. But from a defensive coordinator perspective, when you've got a group of wide receivers and you can cover them straight, you can cover them true, and the defense can play the way it's designed as opposed to having to take one guy away, that's such a better feeling than going into it the other way. And I think that's going to be a real challenge, not just for Aaron, but it's going to be a challenge for the offense as a whole.
You know, Coach, I think you bring up something that is really important. You talked about force multipliers when it comes to quarterback play. You have to remember, for the Green Bay Packers, the last 30 years, they've had Hall of Fame quarterback play, Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, and they've had a revolving door at wide receiver, but have continued to be productive. I think it's telling for Aaron Rodgers, without Davante Adams in 11 games since 2014. Look, his completion percentage is up, his yards per pass are up, and his ability to get his passer rating up is important, because you're talking about a guy who was able to take whoever he has around him and elevate it. Now, it may not be as dynamic, the offense may not be as explosive, and it may be a little more balanced in terms of the way that they play. But Aaron Rodgers has kind of been down this road before and had success. I think they tweak their style of play, and maybe they're a little more half-court oriented as opposed to being a fast break offense. But I expect, as long as you have number 12 at quarterback, they'll continue to get it done. I think it puts more onus on him to develop the relationships with the young guys, particularly Christian Watson, but with Sammy Watkins and Alan Lazard and Randall Cobb, I think they have a nice starting point to the season. And remember, Robert Tonyan comes back after an injury. He was a big part of this offense 2 seasons ago.
So here's the question. It's a matter of how are we going to measure the success that Aaron Rodgers has with Davante Adams? Because, Buck, you just gave me percentages and completion percentages, and I would make the case that when he doesn't have Davante Adams and he knows he's got a lesser core, he's going to play it a little closer to the vest. He's going to be a little more conservative. If he's got Davante, he feels like, hey, we can make magic. I can take more chances with him. I can throw it up there and hope that he's going to get it. I can't necessarily do that with some of the other receivers. The other concern I have, and maybe this is the question for me, is less so am I worried about Aaron Rodgers? I'm worried about Randall Cobb and Lazard and the young receivers without Davante Adams there, because to Coach's point, like Davante drawing all that attention opens up things for other guys, opens up the window for other guys, creates other opportunities for other guys. Who's going to be the shifter? Who's going to force the defense to overload in one direction that's going to make it a little bit easier for everybody else? I don't know that guy is on the roster right now. So the need for Aaron to throw guys open on a more consistent basis without Davante, I believe, is going to be of utmost importance. So again, like, I'm not doubting Aaron at this point. I have no reason to think that he's falling off. But also, I've seen age impact. I'm seeing it in the NBA with LeBron James. The numbers look the same. The player is not the same because he doesn't have that same impact on the players around him.
Well, it's not just in the passing game. It's also in the running game. When you lose a great wide receiver and you can now handle the remaining guys with one defensive back or more post-safety defense, then that affects the running game pretty dramatically as well. Green Bay's benefited from having that significant passing threat game in and game out, which opens so many things for the backs. So that's gonna be affected as well. And Aaron Rodgers does a lot of things at the line of scrimmage, and I don't think he gets enough credit for it. But there's a lot of moving guys out, changing the play at the line of scrimmage, small hand signals and sight adjustment, and subtle things that are built into the defense. And he's going to get really frustrated with those young guys because they're starting from scratch. And when you're used to just being able to look out at a guy, give him a slight hand signal or a nod of the head, and both of you know what's going to happen, and suddenly that's gone, that's a pretty limiting effect too, and it can be frustrating, especially for an older quarterback.
You know, Coach, you bring up something about the running game, and I am actually hoping that the guy who really feels the pressure is more Matt LaFleur, because this is a great opportunity, in my opinion, for the Packers to begin to play a style that's more conducive to them having success in the postseason, meaning a little more emphasis on the running game, a little more of running the offense through Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, dictating the terms to the defense where maybe you can get some plus defender +1 boxes, and now you're able to maybe work those guys open. Because we've seen the Packers have won a lot of regular season games of late, but in the postseason they tend to stumble, and a lot of their stumbles are due to maybe an over-reliance on number 12. Well, now if you start out the season where you are more balanced, you are running the ball maybe 25 to 28 times a game and not necessarily putting it all on Aaron Rodgers to throw it 35+ times a game, you may get a different result at the end of the year because you have all of the pieces of the puzzle involved as opposed to just, hey, number 12 is going to throw it out to number 17, and the leftovers get the scraps whenever those are available. I think this could be a blessing in disguise. It may look a little ugly at the beginning, but I eventually believe the Packers may figure it out, and a more balanced Packers offense may be better. Remember, it's very cold in Green Bay. It's cold in those winter months, and when Vince Lombardi was winning, they were running the football. So maybe this encourages them to run the football a little more.
All right, Bucky, you've taken this a little too far, okay? Don't tell me Don't tell me that the Green Bay Packers are going to be a better playoff team without Davante Adams, which is essentially what you just said. Oh, hey, you know what? We're going to have more balance. We're going to have more balance because you don't have as much talent. You don't have as much proven talent. You guys both know this. Like when you get to the postseason, it's a matter of what can you go above and beyond in terms of your ability. Yes, you're running your plays, but then it really comes down to, can your talent take over and make plays, talent versus talent? And if I'm facing that, I would much rather have Davante Adams in my mix than what the Packers have right now. So I like the idea that during the season that we're going to get everybody involved and who knows? Hey, they might have a better regular season record as a result of it. But you're getting to the postseason. I want that dynamic player on my side, and there is no way you're telling me that balance is now going to make us better if I don't have Davante Adams as part of it.
Yeah, a couple of things. I agree. I don't think they just gave him another $150 million to run the ball, significantly more. I think they're still going to want to see him throw the ball quite a bit. And another point to follow up with Rick is I was with the late Ted Mark-Broda in Baltimore, and he always used to say in big moments, think players, not plays. And in Green Bay's big moments offensively, you could look out and think Davante Adams, and someone's going to have to fill that void, and I'm not sure he's on the roster. He's going to have to reveal himself as the season goes on.
You know what? Maybe I'm the only one that took the happy pills before the show today. But I tend to look at the glass half full, not half empty. And the way that I'm looking at this is, Coach, we talk about this all the time. It's not just the offense. We have an opportunity to play complementary football. So everyone has to raise up their level defensively, in the kicking game, and then offensively, certainly they have to be able to get it done. But heading into the year, the defense knows they may not have the luxury of knowing that they're going to start the game out with 28 or 29 points on the board. So maybe Joe Barry gets this defense to play a little differently as they begin to play a little more conservatively on offense while the young guys grow. And maybe they open up at the end of the year. I'm not quite ready to say that the Packers are going to fade because number 17 is out. I told you, 10-1 when number 17, Davante Adams, was not there. I am willing to say that the Green Bay Packers continue to find a way to get it going.